Right, let's bring in our left-right panel to weigh in on this. On the right, joined by the president of the National Federation of Republican Women, Ms. Julie Harris, and on the left, Democratic strategist and attorney Bill Caruso. All right, she's on her book tour. The book's The Look, and, you know, feeding into the audience there. Julie, is it that they're not ready for a woman, or there just hasn't been the right female candidate yet?
There has not been the right female candidate. Kamala Harris wasn't rejected because she's a woman. Her failed policies is why Americans rejected her. It was about an agenda that moved people away from the American dream, not toward it. Americans wanted a secure border and a strong economy. It's insulting to say that America needs to grow up when they reject bad policy.
Bill, do you agree? Is America ready for a woman? Just hasn't been the right one?
Yeah, sure they are. And, you know, we just saw 2 women elected governor in 2 different states, and that was part of a narrative here. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I don't think Hillary Clinton in 2016 and then Kamala Harris, and particularly in the way that she was selected, were the right women. And listen, I respect Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama does not want to be in the spotlight. She doesn't want to run, and that's fine. And she has that right. But I don't know that you can project her views onto the entire American public and saying that's why we have a woman in the White House, because men in particular, am I allowed to comment on this as a man? I guess I am. You're asking me, but that's not true. I think we haven't found the right candidate, and it may be a member of the GOP, or it may be a member of the Democratic Party, or it may be an independent, but we'll have a woman elected to office as president.
Yeah, and think of all the women in President Trump's cabinet, too. I mean, there's a lot of strong, powerful women in Washington, in addition to what you said, the 2 governors that were just elected on the left. But maybe it gives her another reason to say why she doesn't want to run, because, like you said, she's never wanted the spotlight. So now just using sexism, I think, also gives Kamala a pass. All right, let's talk about Ro Khanna, California congressman, not backing down on his criticism of Schumer. In fact, he's got a short list of who he says should replace him. Let's take a listen.
We have dynamic, young, new leaders.
Who are some of the top
Chris
names?
Murphy is a top leader. Cory Booker is a dynamic leader. Brian Schatz is a dynamic leader. I mean, Elizabeth Warren is someone whose ideology I appreciate. There are a lot of great talent. And really, is Chuck Schumer, when you think about it, just from a common sense test, do you think Democrats around the country think that Chuck Schumer should be the face of the future of the Democratic Party?
Ooh, this shutdown has really hurt him. I'm going to start with you, Bill, on the left. What do you think of Ro Khanna being so forceful and naming names and saying, how about this person, that person? I mean, he clearly is not going to back down on this.
I quibble a little bit with the dynamic young part of some of the people he named, but we'll leave that where it is. Listen, the worst thing that Ro Khanna can do if he's trying to endorse one of these candidates is actually name them by name. Nobody cares about what a House member thinks if you're in the Senate. Listen, I don't think Chuck Schumer is going to be the leader of our party in the Senate after the midterms. Regardless of what happens, we'll have a new leader. But I think we should have the midterms take shape. I think that we should see, after the midterms are finished and hopefully Democrats prevail with a majority, let the Democrat senators, the incoming Democrat senators, pick their own leader. Let's let the election take shape. I don't know that we need to be jettisoning Chuck Schumer now. We don't even know what's going to happen in the next election. So I think it's a little premature. It's easy to beat up on Chuck Schumer, though.
Yeah, and, you know, he is talking about Cory Booker. I mean, these are people who definitely have aspirations. I mean, you look at who was making some road trips, Julie, in New Hampshire, Senator Cory Booker. In Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker was in Maine. Governor Gavin Newsom, of course, went all the way down to Brazil. There's rumors of AOC, Pete Buttigieg. And on the Republican side, let's also throw in Ted Cruz. Potentially is looking at 2028, even though we know we've got J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio as well. So especially on the left, I think that we're kind of watching some of the seeds of people with big aspirations getting out early, not just looking at the midterms, but beyond. Your take on these road trips over the weekend?
Yeah, you know, they're already positioning themselves. But I want to go to Schumer. I mean, he has been a reliable liberal Democrat for decades. And if he's too moderate for the Democrat Party, that shows you how far left they have gone. It's not about picking an effective leader for their party. It's about picking someone who will push this far left agenda that I am confident Americans are going to reject in the midterms.
Let's talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene, because the president was talking an awful lot about her over the weekend, and she was responding as well. President Trump called her wacky. He said she is a traitor. And then she went over on CNN, and this was her comments about what is happening and sort of the riff and the feud.
I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions, and I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately.
All right, Bill, President Trump has said he's taking back his endorsement of her. Again, we talked about some of the words he's called and used names of her, saying she's a traitor, and not highlighting some of the great things that this administration has done. I mean, I'm curious, do you think she's going to go the route of an independent, maybe not be a left, but like a Kirsten Sinema, Bill? I mean, it does seem like Marjorie Taylor Greene is definitely forging a path here, and maybe it is related to a potential Senate run in Georgia.
Yeah, I think two things are true. I mean, she wanted to run for Senate, and President wouldn't back her, and mostly because of where her polling was, and that may be because of her brand. So she may be taking that, this is a bad breakup happening, we're all watching with our own eyes, but she may be actually listening to some of the advice she's gotten from the president and trying to rebrand herself. But I also think we're starting to see the beginning, not the end of it yet, but the beginning of what a post-Trump era is going to look like. He's not going to run for president again. And so I think you're starting to see a lot of people carve out their own space here and what their future looks like without Donald Trump in the White House. And, that may be the beginning for Marjorie Taylor Greene to find her own way now.
Julie, final thoughts on Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, who says she has been supporting President Trump and spent millions, she said in one post, of her own money to support him.
Yeah, I don't know really what she's up to. It may be that she is positioning herself for a run for Senate. She's built a brand on controversy. And when you are very prone to criticize, you can't scream foul and then blame those who respond to your criticism for putting your life in jeopardy or causing threats. So I want to be very clear. We at the National Federation of Republican Women do not believe anyone should be threatened. Anyone should come under attack for their political position. But when you're in a controversial political arena and you are one who, sends that criticism across the bow, you can't.
You dish it out. Sometimes you take it. Got it. All right. Well, I appreciate both of you joining us today. Interesting things that are being said all on the left and the right here. Bill Caruso, Julie Harris. Thanks, guys. I'll see you back here soon.
Thank you.
Have a great